But another stock that has been in focus for the last couple of weeks, and that is BSE. Now, the stock has been under pressure for a few days, and this comes after the news that NSE had shifted its expiry day to Monday earlier. Now, the regulator had proposed a few new norms, including a change in calculation method of open interest. How is the company planning to tackle all of this? My colleague Charu spoke to the BSE MD and CEO Sundararaman. Listen into that conversation.
Markets going up and down is a part of market behavior. So the advice to any investor is not necessarily dependent on what market phase it is at this point of time. It is an important advice forever. As I always tell, an investor, if he is a trained and an existing investor, should be very clear and conscious that he should invest what he understands and he should understand what he invests. That is the basic principle to be followed at all times. If it's a new investor, as you rightly said, a lot of youth wants to get into the capital markets, which is very good for the country, because financialization of household savings is a very important requirement for the development of markets and the economy. My advice to all of them has always been, if you're a new investor, like you do with any new activity, start small, start with mutual funds, maybe with a broad-based fund where the portfolio managers already take care of risk diversification. And you have to plan long term. It's not that you will invest today and tomorrow onwards you start seeing whether you are making profit or loss. Make small amount of SIP to capture all market cycles and stay invested for a longer time, probably in a good mutual fund in a broad-based scheme. That has always been my advice to the Yuva.
That's a very good advice, sir. So moving ahead, as we all know that BSE announced its changes in expiry dates last year in November, and they were implemented in January this year, and they were shifted to the first half of the week, that is on Tuesday. Now very recently we have changed the other big exchange in the country, changing their expiry dates as well to the first half of the week, that is on Monday. So we also have to consider that when this was announced on Wednesday, we saw a strain on the stock price as well. So how do you feel that you are going to be combating with this? What are you thinking about strategizing around this?
See, our stand has always been like this. We do what the market participants want. We are a market infrastructure intermediary. Whatever is the voice of the customer, that's what we implement. When we implemented Friday, that was based on market voice. When we implemented Tuesday, that was based on market voice. Whatever market advises us, that's what we will do this time as well. As far as the share prices, for us, share prices are outcome. What is the main purpose for which we exist? To provide a well-governed, well-regulated marketplace with products what the market want. That's how we will look at it.
So are you planning any sort of change again in the expiry dates?
That would depend upon what the market voice is going to be to us. I'm told NSE made a change on 2 days before or something. So once we are able to understand what the market advice for us is, we will accordingly act.
So you wish to look at how things roll out and then take advice and then, take your action.
Yeah, whatever the market participants tell us as to what should be our action point, that's what we will do.
So moving ahead, the Securities and Exchange Board of India also recently floated another consultation paper that was about the calculation of open interest in the FNO segment. Now, from the notional method, there has been a suggestion to change it to a future equivalence method. Now, do you think that if implemented, or if this proposal paper in general implemented, could also affect the volumes at BSE?
As I said, the volumes are outcomes. The most important thing is to provide products as required by the marketplace within the four walls of corporate governance and market regulation. If you recall, there are multiple open interest requirements stipulated by the regulators. One of them was stipulated during COVID times, and that was called as sentimental OI. Now that COVID has gone, we have been requesting the regulators to review it. The purpose for which it was born is now not there, and market regulations themselves should not shape market microstructure into situations which are not warranted. So the regulators are looking at it, and they have come out with a paper. The paper talks about future equivalent, as you rightly observed. The regulatory process in India is a co-created process. Market is consulted, the exchanges are consulted, experts are consulted, based on whatever their advice is. And based on SEBI's internal thinking, things will come out and get rolled out. I'm sure the market regulatory role and market development role have always been going hand in hand, and SEBI will consider the views and then analyze what the repercussions are, the positives are, and accordingly a decision will be taken.
Definitely, sir. So, talking about the regulator a bit more, ever since the earnings call for BSE was done, there was a sort of back and forth between the two exchanges in the country regarding the clearing corporation charges. Now, I assume that a lot has settled down, but there were a lot of media reports about this back and forth. So, do you feel that some sort of a regulatory intervention or some sort of a regulatory pathway needs to be created to stabilize this entire ecosystem?
See, commercial interests lie with the regular organization, notwithstanding that. As of today, I understand that NSE has to clear some dues to ICCL. And ICCL has escalated it to the regulators, and also NSE has escalated. I am sure very soon it will be resolved.
But is this some sort of an issue that is, as an individual issue being escalated, or you are looking at a larger solution, for example, a regulatory solution to this?
So as I said, it is a commercial one. So typically commercial parts, regulators leave it to the exchanges to resolve by themselves. Where there is no resolution, naturally it will get sort of into the regulator's attention, which has been brought to the notice of regulator by ICCL and also NSE, I was told. So regulators are also looking at it, and then a resolution will certainly follow.
So moving ahead, what are your own plans with regards to getting more market share, strategizing to take BSE forward in the next 2 to 3 years?
As I always said, even in this interview with you, market share and all are outcome, right? Serving the market is what is very important. What we have taken as our goal is customer delight. Who are customers? It's both internal and external. Right from the regulators to shareholders to investors to brokers and their clients, all are our customers. Why customer delight is important today? We are talking about competition. Actually, the competition is global. If the competition is global, if more and more Indians are trading in exchanges outside India, whatever way in which it is happening with legitimate ways, we need to have garvapsi of this investors. They should trade in Indian markets. So it's not about changing expiry days and all that stuff alone and getting some market share out of it. It is about providing an ecosystem where India excels in providing customer service, and to trade in India is a customer delight. So from a BSE perspective, we have taken it as a slogan, and in Hindi we call it as Prasamit Grahak. That is the two word which makes every one of my policy to be scanned through. In that process, we are improving infrastructure in a big way. Infrastructure will tantamount to technology, people, physical infrastructure, knowledge as a base as an infrastructure, automation as an infrastructure. All these are being relooked into, and in the coming 2 years, we want to make BSE as a world-class customer delight exchange. That is the path we are taking.
In moving ahead with these strategies, how big of a role is AI playing currently?
See, like every technology, when it comes, there is a sort of lot of talk about AI, and subsequently probably it dies down. But we do not want this AI part of it to go that way. Every technology has positives and negatives, as you would know. The positives part of it is what it can contribute. Negative is how people can misuse. There are a lot of cases where AI has been misused. People just use AI to character assassinate budding people so that they can have their way of monopoly. So that also we have seen. So negatives, we should be cautious. We should also be understanding that my image can be put and can be told that I am soliciting you to invest in a stock. These all stuff are negatives of AI. Talking of positives of AI can be useful in multiple ways. Combining it with this large language model and all, a lot of things have evolved over a period of time. Significantly voluminous document you throw into a generative mechanism, it gives you a lot of ideas about it. It reads it, it thoroughly analyzes it, it gives you things. We feel in prospectus processing, in surveillance areas, in assessing the probable outcome of a regulatory change, studying the outcome of an already introduced regulatory change to see whether it is serving the desired objectives with which we started the regulatory change. I think AI will be tremendously useful. These are some of the use cases which I am immediately able to think about. Some of these areas, one of the areas we are in very advanced stages of implementation in our organization. Other areas we are exploring. I am sure this is going to play a vital role in the days to come.
So you believe that the technology is not going anywhere, it will stay here. As you said in the beginning that artificial intelligence could be something that eventually becomes not so important, but you have thinking that it is going to stay in some form. It is going
to stay. Only thing is we need to be very clearly aware of the negatives of it, and we should be cautious to curb them.
So finally, any other plans regarding the BSE Star MF?
In what sense you mean?
In taking it forward and taking it to the people more.
As you may recall, when I joined, we were processing around 1 crore to 2 crore transactions per month. Today, we are processing around 6 crore transactions per month. Like in the budget speech, Finance Minister Madam talked about Gyan, Garib, Yuva, Annadata or Nari. Isme say we are taking Yuva and Nari as the concept, today being an important day for Nari. We are taking Yuva and Nari for the purpose of mutual fund investment. Wherever we get an opportunity, we are talking to the young investors, the youth, telling please come into the capital market portfolio through mutual funds, broad-based good mutual fund schemes. And that is another thing we are doing, which is showing results. Otherwise, you will not have seen the growth from 1 to 3 crores as the min-max, going into 6 crores as the average. That transition has happened. We are strengthening again here as well our technology base. Almost a significant completion of whatever we planned as a version 2 has happened. It's under beta testing with some of the people, which will increase functionalities, which will increase governance, which will help in reconciliation, which will help in scaling up and will bring sustainability. We are working in a very big way on mutual funds because it's very close to our heart. That is the way in which we feel the financialization of household savings should be channeled into the markets instead of other undesirable ways in which it could otherwise go and get frittered away.